And today we're delighted to present the exciting Aurora Expeditions product to you. Before we start, I'd just like to check that the audio is clear. If I can just have a couple of you type into the chat box to confirm that you can hear me okay, that would be appreciated. Fabulous, looks great. Thank you so much, everybody. If I can ask if anyone has any questions at all during the presentation, if you can please type them into the comment box. These will actually be answered at the very end of the presentation. So just a chat box there that you can just pop your questions in there and the girls will address them towards the end. So for over the past 25 years, Australian-owned adventure company Aurora Expeditions has become a leader in the small group expedition style travel, taking guests to the polar regions and other wild destinations. Today we have Alex and Talia from the Aurora Expedition sales team with us to talk about the unique experiences that expedition style cruising offers and also give you a sneak peek at Aurora Expedition's brand new purpose-built expedition vessel, which is due to be delivered in time for the 2019-2020 Antarctica season. It's over to you, girls.
Thanks, Marita.
Thanks, Marita.
So my name is Alex and I am the new PDM for Aurora Expeditions. I started last week, so I'm very excited to come out and see you all. I have included my contact details at the end of the presentation, so definitely reach out and let me know. I'll be happy to come in and give you some further training. But as I've been here for a week, Talia, our sales executive, has kindly accepted to help me out, and she will take over from this point. And yeah, we hope you love it, and we can't wait to tell you more about it.
Fantastic. Hi, everyone. So just as Alex said, my name is Talia. Now, I'm one of the sales executives that you'll often speak to when you're inquiring about the Aurora product. Now, I'm actually a dedicated trade sales executive. So when I'm not available, one of my colleagues, Leonie or Chantal, will be available to speak to you. But for the most part, you'll be speaking with me. So I hope to be dealing with you on a more regular basis very soon. So I'll just jump into our product. It's a really exciting product. Aurora Expeditions is an Australian-owned expedition cruise company, which is really unique for our market. And we operate our own vessel called the Polar Pioneer, which you may have heard of. We have a team of expediting itineraries across 5 different regions worldwide, mainly our polar regions. And the company was founded in 1992 by famed Australian adventurer and an avid polar explorer, Greg Mortimer. You may know him because he was the first Australian to climb Mount Everest. You can see that we do have a quite strong history of being expeditionists and explorers. Our philosophy at Aurora is to really get out amongst the nature while also respecting the environments that we're traveling in. And we do this by firstly by offering very small groups to tour with us. I'll just move over to our next slide. So here are some points that we have about why our customers choose Aurora Expeditions. Due to the rise in popularity of expedition cruising, it's been confirmed that there's going to be over 20 new expedition ships being built in the next 10 years. So you can see how quickly this niche is actually growing. So this is your opportunity to have your clients access more remote and off the beaten track destinations that are otherwise inaccessible. And this is something that's really key to expedition cruising. So our 25 years of experience and our 54 passenger vessel is quite small, and that makes us leaders in small ship expedition cruising. Small ships mean more time and more flexibility in any location. So for example, if there's a sudden weather change, because of our small ship size, we can make sudden changes to our itinerary, go into coves that can protect us from the weather and still enjoy our Antarctic excursions. We do multiple landings per day, so we usually do 2 to 3 landings per day, and those landings are about 2 to 4 hours at a time. We also offer a more personalized experience and authentic family style. Everyone gets to know everyone very quickly. Usually by the end of the first day, everyone knows each other's grandchildren or pet names. And we also have a very communal atmosphere in our dining style, and an honors system at our bar, which I'll probably touch on a little bit later. We're pioneers in innovation as far as itineraries and activities that we do. So, for example, we've pioneered the first commercial South Georgia crossing, which you can do by either ski or by foot. So that's following in the footsteps of Shackleton. And we also have other exciting activities which will blow your mind: polar diving, polar snorkeling, and camping on the ice in Antarctica are really exciting for our customers. And our most popular activity is kayaking. We also offer some other activities which I'll get into a little bit later. We're leaders in responsible tourism. We're founding members of the International Association of Antarctica Tour Operators, which is known as IATO. And we are perhaps a little bit partial, but we believe we do have the best expedition team in the industry. They're all contractors, and they come back to us year after year after year because they love the atmosphere on board. So we really do have a great spirit of adventure and exploration. We're not soft adventurers, so that's one of the key differences between us and some of the other expedition companies. The other thing that I'll mention that's really important for you guys is that we're solo traveler friendly. So while we do have a single supplement of 1.7 times the normal per person price, we can actually waive the single supplement completely if your solo customer is willing to share with someone of the same gender. So what we can do is match a female with another female or a male with another male, and that will actually get them to have no single supplement, which we think is great, and many of our passengers love that flexibility. This is just a little bit about our passenger profile. Who is an Aurora passenger? Aurora passengers choose us as we're seen as the leaders in small ship expedition cruising. Again, we're Australian owned and operated, and we have access to remote and bucket list destinations. We offer great activities, more landings due to the size of the ship, and less time waiting to board and offload Zodiac, so we can get people in and out quickly of the destinations. We have a low-key and more personalized approach. So for example, when you call us up, we don't ask you for a booking number, we ask you for the name and the voyage of the passenger. The internet is the main research tool for our passengers, but also quite a lot of our passengers are coming back to us as REITs, or they're coming to us on recommendation of friends and family. So you may hear that as well. Guests are also part of associations such as Australian Geographic magazines, the BirdLife, other outdoor activity groups such as kayaking groups or skiing or trekking groups, things like that. These are just some of the destinations that we're currently offering. You can see up at the top that we're offering Arctic destinations in Norway, which we do the fjords of Norway every second year. Spitsbergen, which is a great place to see the polar bears. That's where people go for our polar bear voyages. Then we do the coast of East Greenland, which is a really interesting part of the world. And I love that particular voyage because it actually gives us a cultural stop at a Greenlandic village. And I love being able to introduce a bit of culture into our voyages, as well as scenery and animal life. And we also finish our voyages in some voyages in Iceland. We do some voyages around the outer islands of Scotland, which is a really exciting itinerary. We also visit the Kimberley coast if you want to do something a little bit close to home. The Kimberley coast would not be on our Polar Pioneer, but we do have charters where we do fully Aurora expedition vessel departures. And of course, South Georgia and the Falkland Islands, as well as the Antarctic Peninsula, that's our bread and butter. And we also operate fully own and operate our tours of trekking in Patagonia, which is really exciting for those adventurous and active passengers of yours. Just really quickly, we are going to be launching a new ship soon, and we're going to hopefully be expanding our destinations to South America, Central America, and Canada, so watch this space. So we have our Polar Pioneer in front of you at the moment. Our Polar Pioneer, we love her. She's an ice-strengthened ex-Russian research vessel that has been converted into a passenger expedition ship. Again, she takes just 54 passengers. It has a small Russian crew. They're the ice masters of the world, and they're really just lovely people, so we really love having them aboard. The ship itself has a range of cabins from triple berth cabins to twin berth cabins. Now, the twin cabins have either private toilets and showers or shared toilets and showers. And we also have 2 mini suites and 1 captain suite for the people who want to travel a little bit larger. This Polar Pioneer operates across our Antarctic and European Arctic destinations, and I'll get into a little bit more detail about the deck plans for you guys now, just so that you can have a look. So up on our screen at the moment, we have the Polar Pioneer deck plan. I'll just go over the different combinations for you, starting with our purple cabins that you can see, 300 and 301. These are our triple cabins. They are with 1 single lower bed and 1 bunk bed set. And these ones are on our twin, on our public deck rather, so our twin and triple public deck. So this means that they're going to have shared facilities for bathroom and shower with other people on that deck. This is a great category to have as our lead-in. It's the most cost-saving. We also have on that deck our orange-colored cabins. Those are our twin publics with shared toilets and showers. These ones will all have lower beds, 2 twin lower beds. Now, we can't put those 2 beds together. They are fixed as single beds. Our pink ones that are located on deck and deck 5 are our twin private cabins. This means that they will have private toilets and showers within the cabins themselves. However, you'll see that there's a star next to cabins 402 and 403. This is becoming a new category for us, which we will call the twin economy private cabins. And what we're keeping them as a different category at the moment because it will have 1 upper and 1 lower bed. So in those 2 cabins, we have bunk beds, and that's why we're going to be converting them into a different cabin category. So they will be priced in between the cost of the twin public and the twin private. Now, with the bluish gray ones, cabins 502 and 503, those are our mini suites. This cabin category will have a double bed. And we have cabin 501, which is our captain suite. Again, that one will have a double bed. Now, with the mini suites and captain suites, we do have a possibility of allowing 3 people in that cabin, but it's on a request basis and it's not something that we advertise. So you guys having attended this meeting today or this webinar today, you guys get a little bit of an insight into how we do things. So on a request basis, what we can do is place a child on one of the sofa beds in those cabins. So just come to us if it's a requirement for your customers. We also have a doctor on board and a medical clinic. We also have a sauna on board as well as our lecture theater. So we do have a few little items of luxury being, for example, the sauna, but other than that, we're not a particularly luxurious ship. I'll just go into some cabins for you. So again, as you can see, we're not a very luxurious ship. The customers that come with us, they're really after that expeditioner feeling. What we have on board is several different categories of cabins. And on this slide, I can actually show you that we have an example of, at the top left and the middle, a twin public cabin. Okay? And then the bottom left can show you a sample of our bunk beds. So that's our twin private economy. And that one also has a shower that you can see in that photo at the bottom left. Now, if you take a look at the top right, that's a sample of one of our mini suites. And then the bottom right is our captain's suite. And again, we can convert the sofa bed to accommodate 3 passengers on request. So some of our onboard features. Meals are served in our dining room. Our dining room is actually split into 2 separate dining rooms. And we serve 3 hearty meals per day in our dining room. We can cater for special dietary requirements, but we do need to know about those at the time of booking. On our sea days, our lectures are given in our lecture room, and it is big enough to fit all of our 54 passengers. Again, we do have a clinic with a doctor on board, and the doctor also joins us on the landings, just in case there's any emergencies. We have a bar area, and as I mentioned earlier, our bar area operates on an honesty system. So if the hotel manager is not available to serve you, you can actually serve yourself and just add it to your bill. So that again gives you the sense of feeling at home and feeling as part of a family. Again, we have a sauna, and the sauna is the most popular thing to be used on the ship after our polar plunge. So our polar plunge is an opportunity that we give to guests to jump into the Arctic or Antarctic waters. So that's a really exciting time for many people. We have an open bridge policy 24 hours a day. We love this because it gives us an opportunity to get to know some of the Russian crew, and it's also a comfortable place to watch the wildlife and the icebergs and to stay warm and away from the wind. But we also have great viewing platforms available at the bow of the ship. So we have good opportunities for especially our photographers that want to get up close to the wildlife and up close to the shore. So I'll just talk to you a little bit about some of the destinations at the moment, in case some of you are unfamiliar with these regions. We've been traveling to the Antarctic for about 25 years. We're coming up on our 25th anniversary voyage on the 27th of December. So we're really excited about that. Our South American ports usually include Ushuaia, Puerto Williams, Punta Arenas, which is usually a fly port, or Stanley in the Falkland Islands. We also have fly sail itineraries where our ships can either sail from or to King George Island. While Antarctica is a haven for wildlife spotting, so for penguins such as Adelie penguins, chinstrap, or Gen 2 penguins, and is a really great place for other seabirds, seals, and whales. So it just depends on the life cycle and the time of year what the passenger is going to be able to see. So if you have any questions about that, definitely get in touch with us. The peninsula-only voyages tend to be for people who want to get basic experiences in Antarctica. Some of these voyages attempt to cross the Antarctic Circle. You'll find that some passengers won't believe that they've really been to Antarctica unless they've done voyages that cross the Antarctic Circle, but that's not actually the case. If you've been to the peninsula, you've been to Antarctica. So it's just a matter of how the client perceives it. So again, we do provide certain voyages that do attempt to cross the Antarctic Circle. Then we have our Peninsula and South Georgia voyages. Those are for many people who are likely to only go once. They do one big trip that covers all the experiences of doing South Georgia wildlife and the peninsula opportunities as well. Just a little bit more in depth about South Georgia and the Falkland Islands. I just wanted to give you some ideas of what to expect there. So South Georgia has the highest density of biodiversity per square meter than anywhere else in the world. So this is the place that you're going to experience those penguin highways of thousands and thousands and thousands of them. Not only does it have lots of penguins, bird life, seals, and other animals around, it also has a really great history. You may have heard of Sir Ernest Shackleton. We do voyages where we visit the grave site, and we also do voyages where we can follow in his historic footsteps that cross the island of South Georgia, either by ski early in the season or by foot later in the season. With our South Georgia voyages, Stanley is one of our main ports, so that's again in the Falkland Islands. And this is great for you guys because that gives you an opportunity to do some upselling on tours around the Falkland Islands, or even in Patagonia, either before or after the voyage. I'll just go into detail about two of our popular itineraries that we have on promotion at the moment. Our ASG73 code in Shackleton's Footsteps is running from the 7th to the 27th of March. Prices are starting from $14,300 US per person. And currently at the moment we're offering two options where we can either give you a 30% discount off this voyage, or we can offer it to you as a fly-free deal, so one or the other. So if you want more details about that, just let us know. And as an extra incentive for joining us on this presentation today, we're offering you an extra $50 Visa card for every berth sold that you sell until the 30th of November. So for every berth is a bed, just to be clear. Now, for me, this particular itinerary is like a diamond in the rough. It's hard to get to the Weddell Sea area. We can only access it in the late season because of an accumulation of ice that comes from all around the other end of Antarctica. Some of the key things that you're going to see in the Weddell Sea are large tabular bergs. So those are those large, like table-like icebergs. They're just massive. And you get some really interesting experiences because they have a lot of fossils and there's like a paleontological history there. So it's really good for historians and for geology buffs because you're getting both South Georgia and the Weddell Sea. So what we do, as you can see here, is that we're finishing this voyage in Stanley in the Falkland Islands. And you can see that we have a little flight line that goes from Stanley to Punta Arenas and then up to Santiago. This is to indicate that we include, as part of the program fee, a flight that goes back to Santiago at the end of the voyage. Now, we include the little dot there in Punta Arenas because it's a mandatory stop that the flight does. It only runs once a week out of Stanley, and what we can do is we can get your clients either all the way to Santiago, or we can finish them up in Punta Arenas so that you can do that add-on stay in Patagonia for them, and then you can just arrange the flights back up to Santiago and back home for them. So there's those two options. You just need to let us know again at the time of booking. The second voyage that I wanted to highlight for you today, another really popular one for us, is FLK06, our Sub-Antarctic Safari, which runs from the 24th of March to the 7th of April. This one starting price is from around $10,900 US per person. And again, we can either offer a 30% off this voyage for your customers, or we can offer a fly-free offer. So again, you can contact us for more details about that, or you may have seen it in the CLIA newsletter that recently went out. Again, for this one, we're honoring that extra incentive of a $50 Visa gift card for you guys for every berth that you sell up until the 30th of November. Now, this particular itinerary is great for passengers that may have already visited the Antarctic Peninsula and missed South Georgia Islands, or for passengers who are just animal lovers. And then we also have interest in this particular voyage from people who have already been to South Georgia but felt they didn't have enough time there. So we do a few extra days in South Georgia on this itinerary. Also, something that's brand new, we've just launched a new trek of Patagonia. That's a 10-day trek that coincides with this departure before the sailing. So you can do the trek and then follow it by the sailing. That would mean that you can start in Punta Arenas, do the trek, and then we will fly the customer out to Stanley, do the voyage, and then when they finish in Stanley, fly them back to Santiago to make it nice and easy for you guys to arrange the rest of the airfare. So that's a really nice itinerary that you guys may be interested for your customers. Now, just briefly touch on our Patagonia treks. You've heard me mention them previously. Now, our treks are great add-ons to our voyages, and you can sell them on their own. But if you sell them with your voyages, we can give your customers up to 20% back-to-back discount. Now, these treks are led by our expedition guide, Lelia Cataldi, and you'll stay in lodges and campgrounds mainly. We have a maximum of 14 passengers that go on these treks, so they're nice and small groups. And they're also fully Aurora products, as I mentioned earlier. The routes that you take on the treks will depend on each voyage that you're booked on. So there's only one trek that coincides with each voyage. So it might be only the Chilean side, only the Argentinian side, or crossing borders. So it just, again, it depends on the voyage that the passenger chooses. Now, what's really good about these treks is that there's a mix of large and small day walks. Now, what happens with the medium difficulty treks, just as an example, is that Lelia will get a local guide, and what will happen is they will get to a first break-off point, and if any passengers feel that they can't go ahead to the final destination, then Lelia will take the group back. So the same thing will happen with the difficult treks, except we will have 2 local guides, and we'll be able to break up the group twice. So many different levels of fitness will be able to join these treks. All right, so just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of that. Now, just quickly touch on our Arctic departures. We mainly do, as I said, Spitsbergen, the coast of Greenland, and we finish in Iceland, or start some of our voyages in Iceland. Every second year, we run a trip that does the fjords in Norway. And these are great trips for people who love wildlife spotting, especially polar bears. Again, that Greenland culture is really a jewel for us. And there's a lot of seabirds, flora and fauna, really great landscapes as well. We also offer Wild Scotland, which is kind of separate to our Arctic departures. And those ones are really great for bird lovers and history enthusiasts, because we're visiting a lot of prehistoric villages and ruins like Skara Brae, which you may have heard of. Our Arctic departures are really easy to get to as far as flights go, but if you do need any guidance, you can just let us know. Now, just touching on 2 of our Arctic itineraries, we have our brand new Northern Svalbard Explorer, which visits Nordastenlet in Svalbard. So it's our brand new itinerary. It's running late in the season when it's known to have a lot of polar bear sightings. This is a great itinerary for people who are new to the Arctic, but is also good for people who are who've only done the Arctic only around Spitsbergen. So it gives them a different location around Spitsbergen to be able to see the polar bears. When paired up with our Jewels of the Arctic cruise, which goes down the coast of Greenland or up the coast of Greenland, we can give them a 10% back-to-back discount in any cabin category for this voyage. On its own, we currently have a 15% early bird discount in either the twin public or twin private categories up until the 30th of November. The second one that I would like to talk about is our Jewels of the Arctic. Again, I've mentioned that earlier. That's the one that either goes from Svalbard down to Iceland through the coast of Greenland, or the reverse. It's a great opportunity if you're doing this particular voyage for your customer to upsell tours in Iceland. So there's a lot of self-drives or bus tours that you could be doing in Iceland. You can pair this with one of our Spitsbergen voyages, or with our Northern Svalbard Explorer, the previous slide, again to get our 10% back-to-back discount in any category. Or for this particular departure, we're offering a 10% early bird discount again until the 30th of November on our twin public or twin private cabins. So this slide is just giving you some more information about the promotion that we had out in the CLIA newsletter just yesterday. We're offering Antarctica packages with return flights from Australia included free, as well as pre or post accommodation included in that package. Now, in regards to the no single supplement, that refers to the hotel portion only, as the normal policy applies to the single supplements for the ship, or if they're going to share, again, the single supplement is waived. So this is available on 5 of our departures in the peninsula or the peninsula and South Georgia. So just contact us for more details. Now, if your customer would like to do one of these voyages but doesn't want to have a package because they have other things already arranged, rather than take that package, we can offer you a 30% discount on the 5 voyages. So if you want some information about those 5 voyages, just contact us and we'll send that through to you. Again, you can get with either of those promotions, either the fly free or the 30% discount, your $50 Visa gift card for every berth sold up until the 30th of November. Now for our other early bird offers, we're currently selling our Arctic programs for 2019 up to 20% early bird discount. The offers apply only to twin public and twin private categories, and the amount will vary by voyage. So just contact us if you have anyone who may be interested in any of those, and I can give you the exact amount of discount depending on the voyage. This is just a quick chart of an overview of what those discounts are. If you need a copy of those, we can definitely send that through to you. Otherwise, you can download a copy of this webinar, which is being recorded, and you can just have a look again. Fantastic. So I'll just go ahead and talk about our activities. So we do have kayaking, and now kayaking is one of our most popular activities. We take groups from 10 to 12 people maximum on excursions. Now, the kayakers are really in a great position because they get to have such a tranquil experience with the Antarctic or the Arctic. And they go out every time that any zodiacs go out. Now, kayaking is an additional activity and does have an additional charge. They really do get their money's worth out of it if they're going to go out on those excursions. With kayaking, just bear in mind that if you ever feel, or if the customer ever feels that one of the paddles is going to be too long or too difficult, that's not a problem. There will always be a space for them to use a zodiac. So that's something that they don't need to be too concerned about. Again, we also offer some really exciting activities, being snorkeling, diving, snowshoeing, camping. We have a brand new activity in Greenland, which we do, which is rock climbing. We can do skiing, climbing. We have that South Georgia trek that I was talking about earlier, which you can either do by foot or by ski. And then we, of course, are a haven for photographers. So we do offer free photography programs as well for keen enthusiasts of that activity as well. Now, you guys, for being on this webinar, get a sneak peek into our new ship design. You may have heard that we have launched, or we will be launching a new ship. Officially, it will be launched on the 22nd of January 2018 for sales for our Antarctica season of 2019-2020. Now, we are the first leisure travel company to go to market with this new technology of the X-Bow design. It will be purposely built expedition ship, so brand new from scratch. And X-Bow technology means that the ship will pierce through the waves and not ride the waves. So you can see that our bow of the ship has actually been inverted. So it might look a little bit unusual to you, but by having it inverted, that's what we mean about the X-Bow technology, and that's what's going to be piercing the waves. So that's a really good selling point for us, because not only do we have the newest technology for stabilization of the ship, we also have that which will help us get through that Drake crossing, and hopefully your passengers won't feel as ill. So what we're going to be doing with our new vessel is fill a gap in the market, as we will continue to offer our authentic Aurora style expedition cruise, although it will be, of course, on an upgraded level to the Polar Pioneer, but we're not going to be a 5-star luxury vessel. So we're not going to include a 5-star luxury vessel price tag either. Now, 80% of the cabins will be suites with floor-to-ceiling windows that have balconies. 30% of the cabins aboard will be interlocking or connecting cabins, so good for friends traveling together or families. And we'll have hydraulic platforms and viewing winglets for viewing experiences. Now, one of the reasons that we're adding those hydraulic platforms and winglets, which will be around this area of the ship here that you can see with my little pencil, is because having the inverted bow here, it was taking away a little bit of our viewing room. So we've compensated for that. One of the other great things that we have aboard is up here we have our bridge, which is in that black area here. And just above the bridge, we have a little viewing area here, which is 180-degree views. This is really great because, again, it's going to be enclosed and it's be away from the elements. Whereas when you go onto the winglets and the viewing platforms here, you can be outdoors. So again, that's going to go on sale towards the end of January, starting our first season 2019-2020 Antarctica. And then new destinations for our Arctic season are going to be released in July 2018, and hopefully some repositioning cruises including South Central America and Canada. So we're really excited about that. One of the things that I'll just quickly mention before we move on to the next slide is that one of the things that we found out just recently and we're really excited about on the new ship is that it has dynamic steering, which means that it doesn't actually need to anchor anymore. It just has a dynamic steering that monitors where it is at all points. So that brings us to the end of our presentation, and thank you so much for staying around and having this training with us. I hope that you've learned a little bit about us and a little bit about the regions that we go to as well, because I know that as an agent myself in the past, Antarctica was something, and the Arctic as well, was something that I didn't really have the confidence in selling. So again, if you can just take note of Alex's details, the BDM, our new business development manager. And she's a business development manager for anywhere in Australia. So if you do live even out in Perth or if you're in Darwin, just get in touch with her if you want to get more in-depth training, and she'd be happy to arrange something for you and your staff. My email address is also there. You can email me on agents@auroraexpeditions.com.au. And you can ask me any questions that you'd like in regards to availability, but also if you have a customer who wants to travel but doesn't know when's the best time to go, I can also help you with that based on what their preferences are and what they want to see. So I'll pass this back to Alex now, and thanks so much again for having a listen.
So yes, thank you so much for your attention. We have a bit of time for a couple of questions. So you know, we'll take a couple, and any others, of course, you can contact us. So let's have a look.
Yeah, so we do have a question from Jane. Does the ship have a new name yet? We don't unfortunately have a name for the ship at this time, but by the time that we launch the ship in January of next year, that will definitely already be decided.
So I can see we had another question as well. Let's see. What would be the minimum age? Because yes, we did mention the possibility of maybe having a child sleeping on the sofa bed. So the minimum age.
Yeah, it's a great question. So we set the minimum age as 8 years old. The reason being is that that's the size of life jackets that we have on board is not suited for anyone younger than 8 years old, but also because we don't have any child minding facilities on board. So we want to make sure that the children are going to be old enough to be interested in what they're doing and to entertain themselves on sea days and things like that. Are there triple share cabins? Yeah. So Helen, we do have triple share cabins on the Polar Pioneer. We have 2 available. Now they're set up as one single bed and one set of bunk beds. So we're going to have someone on the top bunk, but they're quite comfortable cabins, and they're on the deck where you're going to be sharing toilets and showers.
So the new ship is we'll be launching it this January coming, but it will be starting for the Antarctica season 19 to 20.
And Pamela is asking if we provide any parkas or boots. That's a great question. That's one of our selling points. We do actually provide a polar jacket for anyone who's on our polar products. So that's a nice blue jacket that you may see in photos on our website. And it's kind of like a 3-in-1 jacket. So there's 2 layers in it. So you can wear it as both layers together, or you can wear each individual layer separately, and that's for the passenger to keep. Now the boots are available on board, but they're not available for the passengers to keep. They're just available to borrow, and there's no charge for those.
Talking about what we'll get on board, there's also that beautiful logbook.
Oh yes, absolutely. That beautiful. We do have a logbook as well. Now, what you might be able to do is, if you do visit our website at some point, we do have voyage logs. Now, voyage logs are given to the customers, and what we really love about those is that they're hardcover brag books, I like to call them. They compile photos, poems, drawings sometimes. We have a chart of which animals we've seen on which days and what the weather was like and what our positioning was. And these are provided as hardcover books to each couple or each individual passenger a few months after the voyage. And that's a beautiful gift that we love to include as part of the program fee. So that's a really great selling point, because that gives the passengers an opportunity to share the best photos amongst all of the different passengers, and sometimes the expedition leaders get involved as well. If you want to have a view of those on our website, we do have them again under the voyage logs section of our website in PDF form. Now, the voyage logs, while we're on topic of those, I think are a really great tool for selling for you guys. Because if you're not sure about what it's going to look like or what type of animal they're going to see at a particular time of year, you can go and have a look at one of the similar voyages from a previous year and say, well, at this time of year, this is what it looked like. And you can go to the back of the book and you can see which animals were seen at that time of year. Now, we can never 100% guarantee that the animals will be the same from year to year, because that's really up to Mother Nature, but it's a really good starting point. So do we have any other questions at all? Helen's asking, what is our preferred method of booking? So at the moment, we do have a live booking system, which is not super great. We are going to be looking at improving that system very shortly. So probably, being in Australia, the easiest way to book is either to email us or to give me a call. And I can check availability for you, hold something in for you for a period of 7 days at no obligation to the customer. And then if the passenger wants to go ahead, what we would require is a $2,500 deposit in the currency of the voyage. Now, I might just mention that with Antarctica programs, again, it's in US dollars, whereas with the Arctic programs, I'm not sure if I mentioned the currency, it should be in Australian dollars for the Arctic programs. So that's a $2,500 deposit per person in the currency of the voyage. And that deposit will be non-refundable. Then the final payment will be due at 90 days prior to departure. Does that answer your question, Helen? So the documents that we deliver for agents will be coming by email, and then if the passenger would like to have a printout, then that's up to you whether you'll print them out. Again, we are trying to be environmentally sensitive, so we have gone to electronic documents for the most part. In addition to that, what I might just mention is, once we've received the booking form and deposit, we like to send your customers what's called a pre-departure kit. But of course, as we have a relationship with you as agents, we send that via you guys. So it's really, really important that you read all of the documentation that we do send through to you, and just make sure that that gets forwarded on to the customers. Fantastic, Helen. I got your message. I'm glad I was able to answer that. And Steph, thank you so much for your comment. I'm so glad that you thought it was a great presentation. I really do hope that everyone was able to learn so much from it. Again, like I said, I feel for you guys. I've been an agent, and I know that it's a bit of a difficult location to sell. And the more that you sell it, the more you're going to be confident in selling it. And again, that's what Alex and I are here for. So definitely keep our numbers, definitely keep our email addresses, and get in touch with any questions that you have.
So we might wrap it up, but like I said, if you have any questions, you know, that you think, oh, I wish I'd asked that, yes, you do have our contact details on this very page, so please get in touch. And like I said, when I'm in your area, I'd love to come and see you, so do reach out to me. And that goes for Australia and New Zealand as well. So yeah, let me know, and then we can lock it in together. In fact, Steph,
Thank you so much for a fabulous presentation this morning. I'm sure everyone else, it was such a wonderful showcase of the Aurora Expeditions product and, of course, the new ship, Where You Go, and a very in-depth explanation. So thank you both so very much. I would just like to let everybody know that this presentation, along with all of our webinars, can be found in the Members Hub of the CLIA website for you to listen to and refer back to at any time. So thank you once again, ladies, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.